This is day. Hold on a second. This is day. Whatever. of trying to become an international icon. After spending like what feels like a week in southern Georgia, I finally returned to Atlanta, in which I was not working on a lot of music at all. That's actually not true. I've been working on this song called City to City, like passively. Like whenever I'm driving or whenever I'm like around, I'll try to come up with the lyrics. But I haven't like put an active effort into working on it, I'd say. But I've just not really been giving it my full effort, because I've just kind of been out and about hanging out with my girlfriend. I need to find a better way to manage my time. And yeah. I've been thinking a lot about New York, or I've been thinking about New York a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but I remember last year around this time when I wanted to go to New York, I was probably at like the lowest point I had been in a long time, and the only thing that I felt like was going to keep me alive was having the opportunity to perform a bunch. And I've talked about this before, and how like when I lose the momentum like this, it just makes me feel not as hungry, like I don't want it as bad. But then I kind of also have days like this where it's like I could just kind of sit in the car and do nothing, and then I talk to my friends, and people ask me like, what are you doing? Like, what are you up to? Not even just like music related, but just what are you up to personally? And I'm like, damn, I really sit here and do absolutely fucking nothing. And then I'm like, well, if I'm going to sit here and keep doing nothing, then I might as well just spend that time working on music. And it's also a bit challenging because I don't have an apartment, and I feel like I've spoken about that a lot, and how I feel like this is a decision that's slowly killing me, the decision to live out of the van. Because I don't have access to a lot of facilities, and it's just kind of hard to stay organized in certain aspects. Like, when you're in a house, you can just kind of go to the desk and get work done. You can organize your life around those kind of things, but when you live in a van, you can't really do that. You have to leave the van to get things done, and you don't really have one centralized space that has all of the things that you needed. And by all the things, I mean like a shower, a sleeping space, and a working space. That was a tangent. But back to New York. I told myself that come this May or June, I would go to New York, and I'm going to try and do 20 shows. Not in New York, but my goal for the year was 1,000 monthly listeners on Spotify and 20 shows done. That was the goal. And it feels like I have not really made any progress, because I haven't. I mean, I've worked on music, and to be fair, the plan was we were going to release Scarlett's Letter, and we did not do that, for a bunch of different reasons that we spoke about already. Yeah. At least I'm here. At least I'm making the video, that's cool. City to City is going okay, though. Or, let me go back to New York. I told myself I really wanted to go perform in New York because it was the only thing that I could think of that would stop me from putting a bullet in my skull. That was last year. We did end up going, and I told myself that I would go this year. And now that I have all of the facilities to go and really make that trip happen, I'm not going to say that I don't want to go. I mean, there's a part of me that, no, I'm not going to say that. Me going to New York would be more of an obligation to myself to really fulfill that dream that I had a year ago, and less of a desire for me to go because I really want to go right now. Do I think that New York would have much better opportunities for shows? Yes. Do I enjoy performing still? Yes. But I also know that if I go to New York, while I do have the facilities to live in New York, it's not going to be comfortable. And I mean, to be fair, I'm going to have the same issues here now that I think about it. Like, it's just going to be really hot in the van. And at least here, parking is free. It's 24/7 free parking too, which is going to be basically fucking impossible to find in New York. At least in a convenient spot in New York. And it's relatively low crime, even though, like, somebody tried to come into my car once. Like, going to New York is going to add a whole bunch of, like, issues to this living situation that I don't really want. But it is what it is. I still do think that going to New York, I'm going to have a much easier time with shows. And I get to perform at the Apollo because the Apollo has open mic nights, which would be really cool. Also, I've been thinking about how I'm going to release a song a week. I might have spoken about this in the last vlog. Like I said, not a lot of progress has been made, but at least we're here. I think I came to the conclusion that the only way I'm going to be able to keep myself motivated is pivot in that I'm not going to focus on the album. Albums are for people who've already generated an audience, which is something I have not done. I've not generated a large enough audience for anyone to give a shit about my album, except for me and maybe, like, my close friends. So, I'm going to just keep releasing singles, and I think I'm going to release singles once a week, like we had originally anticipated. Or not anticipated, like we had originally planned out. I think the Hans Niemann song really made me want to make an album, but I can't just sit here and just wait, and pick and choose which songs I release. It's not going to work. I have to release out songs every day. Which is fine. Not every day, every week, I'm sorry. Or once every 2 weeks. Because we spend 1 week working on music and we spend 1 week working on content, which is what we were talking about. Sorry. We'll stick like this. Yeah. I think that I don't even know. I'm tired. Not of everything, just like physically tired right now. And it's been days since I've really sat down and like worked on something, and that has to change. And I might have said this in earlier vlogs, but it all starts with me just going to sleep early and just getting an adequate amount of sleep, and that's something I always fuck up. Like, we live in a van, but like, it's not as bad as me living in a van, It could be, like, it's something we can still make better despite the van. Going into tomorrow, I think I'm going to try and map out a little bit more of Hans Niemann. I finished writing all of the lyrics for Hans Niemann, I think. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try to figure out the ad-lib clips that I'm going to add in the song. Because I know that I'm going to have some. What else? There's this one crazy Kanye West type beat song I've been working on. And I don't know if I like it. I think I might have brought it up. Maybe I think it's called Sad to Say. It uses this really wacky beat. And I just don't know if the song is good. It feels like I've just been writing shit, but none of the music I'm making is really good. Or it's not like giving me that emotional response, you know? But I also understand at the end of the day, like I don't really have an audience, so I can't sit around and wait for songs that I really like to just go. I have to really make that happen. Which is why we're going to stick with a song every 2 weeks. Because it's all about volume. So the rest of this week is going to be a writing week or a music making week. ABS is still burned down, or they don't really have the license from the city to go back, which is really fucking frustrating because now I really don't know what I'm going to do as far as recording. But we'll see. We'll just have to pivot, I guess. I fucking really fucked with Nico, man. He was a really great engineer. Let's see, for the rest of the week, I'm going to be working on music, but let's see, which music am I going to work on? I think, like I said earlier, I'm going to probably finish the just mapping out all of the details of the Hans Niemann song. I don't even know why I keep saying the Hans Niemann song. It's just called Hans Niemann. I don't know if I want to work on Sad to Say. Well, I'll say this. I'll probably still work on Sad to Say or City to City. I think it'll probably be City to City. I'll probably work on City to City since I like that song a little bit more. And I really do need to fucking release music, though, because I can't market anything. Okay, here's what I'll say. I'm going to spend the rest of this week working on Hans Niemann. I'm going to write and finish writing. Not sad to say. I'm going to finish writing City to City. And then next week, when it's content week, I'm not going to worry about making content. I'm just going to worry about learning the gaps I had need, learning the gaps, like learning the stuff I need to fill the gaps that I have in content creation, which is Lightroom, and properly taking pictures, figuring out what pictures are going to work, which ones don't, which videos work, which don't. We're probably going to still take a picture every day. And figuring out where the fuck we're going to play at shows. Jeez. Yeah. Next week, so I'm not going to focus too much on the hard stuff yet. I just got to get back in the motions and the swing of things. Yeah. I think that's the plan. I think it's a pretty solid one. I think I shouldn't have too hard a time finding open mics and stuff like that. I think that'll be really fun. not finding it, but like doing it once it happens, you know. um yeah, I think we have a solid plan. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, when I make these videos consistently, it really does make me feel like I can do this. I don't know why. I like it a lot. I feel like it keeps me on task in a way, which is part of what we said about holding ourselves accountable, you know? We like that's important. But like even when we're not doing that and we just kind of come back to the making the video, it's like it helps. Yeah, I think that's all I got for today. Unless this video is just gonna be an hour long of me just kind of talking, but it's not that serious. But alrighty, I think I'll let you guys go.